Welcome to Bloodbath TV. Today we're doing a retrospective review of the giallo classic, Deep Red, where a pianist becomes a real dick.
Like a detective.
I am a pianist.
Directed by Dario Argento, who most everybody knows already. He did Suspiria and a lot of other Italian movies. This movie stars David Hemmings, a Paul McCartney lookalike, and Daria Nicolodi, who has the smoothest skin, or so she says. This is a Patreon recommendation from James Montgomery. This is a movie that I've watched I don't know how many times, and this was John's first time. So I'm actually interested to hear what John has to say about all of this. We watched the director's cut, which is a little bit too long for its own good, I think. But this is a retrospective, so there will be full spoilers, so if you have not seen this movie, we will be telling you who the killer is, because we have to. But it's a giallo, it's a mystery movie from Italy. We have Marcus, he's a pianist. He's just hanging out with his drunk friend Carlo, and they hear a woman scream, and then Marcus looks up, he sees a woman getting killed in her window, and this is a neighbor of his, so he rushed to her aid to see what was going on. He sees somebody in a brown trench coat walking away, and now he's just full on becomes a detective and is trying to solve this crime. So what do we like?
The score was fantastic. It's got your synthy tones. It has that eerie feel to it, which adds to the mystery and the POV nature from the cinematography of who could the killer be. We get the classic, really extreme close-up shots of the gloves. It's just something so familiar that fits perfect with the genre.
In high school, Italian horror movies was basically like what I loved all the time. And Goblin was like super important. So I think I remember a lot of this movie based on the music alone. Even the creepy kid music. And the cinematography was so good. There's a lot of tracking shots, there's a lot of like camera movement. I really like the camera work. Shockingly, this is one of those movies where I think a lot of people would probably assume there's that giallo lighting. Like there's no bright pinks and vibrant stuff. But it didn't matter because it all seemed pretty cool.
In fact, this was like the exact opposite, where they utilized darkness to showcase our mystery killer. Like that one moment where like the killer's in the closet, where you just see nothing and then like eyelid opens. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepy moments in this, I think. Like even just one of the main shots right at the beginning is pretty creepy. Just walking down this hallway with all these ghastly, ghoulish paintings, and one not so conspicuous painting, which is clearly a mirror with Lydia Dietz sitting right there.
Oh,
I thought I saw a painting. And then, a few minutes later, it was gone.
I think the Blu-ray really ruins the moment of this film because you can see how crisp and clear that reflection is. You knew exactly who it was at the beginning.
Yeah, watching it back, I thought, okay, I know to look for this. But looking over to see if John is gonna notice, it's like, yeah, he's gonna fucking notice.
When they get to the whole end with like Carlo being like, oh, Carlo's the killer or whatever.
I know who you are. I read the name. Carlo.
I told you to stay out of it. Pack up and clear out, I said.
No, he's obviously not, because again at the beginning, Carlo is standing at one side of the fountain as the killer is walking away on the other. You're like, no.
You immediately know it couldn't have been Carlo. You were literally talking to Carlo while he was drinking when you saw the murder happen. It's way more evident now watching it again as somebody who hasn't seen it, because I'm like, oh, will he notice? It's like, yeah, 100% of the things are very evident.
If you know who the killer is right away, then the mystery is out the door. So like when we're watching this film, it's more so I'm waiting for them to solve the crime, because like it's like, oh, we know the answer. Well, how are you gonna come about to getting that answer?
What I saw was a reflection in a mirror. I saw the face of the murderer.
Which I thought was great. I think like Mark or Marcus, they call him Mark more often. And I think Gianna calls him Marco at the end when she's like stabbed. I thought Ricci was gonna come in and be like, Polo.
Like, was Ricci our red herring just because of the eyeliner? Like, that's the thing too. Like, even at the end when Carlo came in, I'm like, oh, where's Ricci? He's got to be in here too, because they were lovers.
Caught me red-handed, huh?
Yeah, which is kind of strange looking back, because it seemed way more acceptable in this movie. And you look at North America and their views and how long it took for like gay couples to be accepted here. It's so crazy.
It is funny because Marco's in there. He's just like, Carlo, I don't care that you're in love with Ricci. I'm more concerned about your drinking problem and solving this crime. So come on, let's sober up and figure this out.
I love that guy, but he's such a downer.
He's not the sidekick I would have chosen, but his actual sidekick, his girlfriend, or I don't know, someone special to him, the journalist, Gianna. He had beef with her, so he's like, I'm not bringing her along.
I think that a woman's gotta be independent, so
Oh,
she can...
don't start with me about all that woman stuff.
I'm a man, women are weak and stupid.
Men are different from women. Women are weaker.
They're what?
And it was so fucking funny to just see her like stand up like, no, I'm gonna beat you in this arm wrestle, and I'm gonna basically solve this crime without you.
We decided to work together, no?
No, it seems that there are some things which you just cannot do seriously with liberated women.
Mark was smart and dumb at the same time because how often did he keep going back into Gianna's car? That car was a weird death trap.
This is one of those things that I don't really remember. I don't think that this is in the original cut because it seemed a lot more slapstick and funny. Not only the car and him like struggling to get out the fucking sunroof, but even when he has the pickaxe and he's trying to figure out what's going on with this house, like there's a secret room and he needs to bash in this window from the outside. It seems to go on a lot longer than I think it needs to. And he just keeps smashing it and he's falling all over the place. It almost reminded me of the scene from Rush Hour where they're like falling out the window, grabbing onto the silk.
Oh, or the silk, or like the bamboo shoot. Did they do the bamboo shoots too?
In a different one, yeah.
Oh, God. That's the gag.
That's the new title for this. The inspiration for Rush Hour. Because that's what this felt like sometimes with Mark. He did solve crimes, and he
did it better than John Hamm.
The main detective didn't do anything.
He ate sandwiches and drank coffee.
Mark seemed like he was he was smart, but he was really slow. Like when you see like, oh, it's Carlo, and he's like, yeah, I knew it was you the whole time. It took him a long ass time to figure out like, wait a second, I was with him when I saw the murder.
He was with me when Helga was killed.
Yeah, it took him like a whole day afterwards. We're like,
it couldn't have been him. He had nothing to do with it.
I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I've seen a murder, and I remember every fucking detail because it's burnt into my brain. There's no fucking way he didn't know who he was hanging out with when he saw a murder.
You. I bet you're the eyewitness. The man who saw the whole thing.
There's some weird plot points in this one, especially like going back to the psychic and like our spiritual professors.
Termites, zebras, all these animals and many, many others use telepathy.
Even getting them involved with this, because obviously it was one of their friends who was murdered, one who could see the future, but not too well, which actually led to probably my favorite scene in the entire film. He's like drinking tea, and then all of a sudden, like a dummy comes riding in. It's pretty freaky. It's a great scene.
Yeah, he just straight up grabs the sharpest letter opener of all time, and he just stabs the shit out of it and cracks its head. You know what's weird is like, he was frightened of it, but like that was his. There's no way the killer is just walking around with a big ventriloquist doll that can run at people. Although I have been watching the Chucky TV series, and it seems to happen a lot that people are bringing dolls to places and the doll kills things. So who knows? Some of the gore was pretty decent. I mean, it's not over the top, but when we find out that it's Carlo's mom who is doing the murdering, and she gets her head taken off because unfortunately her necklace gets stuck in the elevator, I will say there's a lot of shots that hang for way too long, and that's one of them. The fact that it just shows this bloody necklace for like, I don't know, 30 seconds, like, okay, just end the movie.
Though I will say the bathtub kill that would have sucked. To like have your entire face burned? No.
Yeah. Oh my god. The boils and everything on the face looked great. And I love that she was like pointing to the area. She's like, it was blank. And they hid that from us. So if the killer came and killed that person, and that other guy, I don't know his name. Professor Spirit guy, he knew, he's like, oh, it was blank.
I just wanted to find out who the murderer was.
But that would have meant that the killer was still hanging around the crime scene, just happens to be at the same time that guy was there.
It all comes down to the fact that Mark confides in Carlo. Carlo then tells his mom, he's been trying to stop Mark since day one. You know, he's like, no, don't do this. I don't want you to find the truth, because obviously the truth is my mom is a killer.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Which is likely why he was drinking. I get it. I didn't I didn't see my parents murder each other, just a heads up. This is actually like a Christmas movie, because I think it was on Christmas Day. Carlo's mom kills his dad. Now he grows up, he drinks a lot, and he's like, I gotta keep this between me and my mom, and now he's willing to die for it. And the way that he dies is fucking hilarious. It sucks. I liked Carlo. He's relatable.
You should meet Ricci.
A man in the drinking.
We're not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
His death scene was pretty cool because he's like running from the cops now. He's shot at Mark and he's outside and there just happens to be a hook hanging out the back of a garbage truck as these guys are just having the time of their lives. They accidentally like drag him and then eventually he dies by death by left turn.
The final kill was when the car ran over his head. Yeah, that was the double tap.
There was some good brutality. Like even that
Professor Venkman, the spirit professor.
Him getting his teeth bashed into various corners. Like that would fucking suck. Gotta give it to the brutality. Big fan. I will say that there is a weird aspect of the music. Well, I liked the music that played. It seemed too adventurous for what was going on. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. I'm a big fan of Deep Red, even though this time it felt like it went on forever. And I don't know if that just comes with knowing who the killer is right out the gate, because then you're just like waiting for it to continue. But hearing John as a first-time viewer also know who the killer is immediately, that shocked me. So I don't know, like I still think that this is a good movie to watch if you want to test the waters for giallo. I really like the cinematography and the music. There's a lot of nostalgia for me because I watched this in Tenebrae like all the time back in the day. So I'm gonna give this 4.5 hanged dolls out of 5. I also don't like that I have to say hanged and not hung dolls, but now I'm thinking of a big plastic wiener.
I mean, it's fine if that's who you are.
Absolutely.
As a big fan of giallo cinema, this one actually left me disappointed because I like a good whodunit. The mystery element was just not there because you know who the killer is right away. And then the pacing of the film was just very dragged out because of that. But I loved all the technical aspects of this movie. It was just one of the weaker stories, and I've seen it done better in other films that quite possibly could have taken inspiration from this very film. But I mean, I would recommend it. I still had a good time. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 3.5 Spike Spiegel cosplayers out of 5.
Whatever happens, happens.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. There's a lot of stuff in the description. I don't think anybody clicks on it. But what you should click on, that big red subscribe button. Why we need to always say that and reinforce it, I don't care if you smash anything. Just keep pressing play, gently.